Moving a summing point behind a block. And moving summing point ahead of block. If you have any doubts, you can raise it. I have shared the slides.
Sir,
Yeah.
so sir, in the second point, in when we are moving the summing point behind the block, since it is seeing G, that's why we are adding a block G, right? When we are shifting it ahead, means
Yeah.
behind.
Yes.
And in the third case, since it is seeing 1, means it's seeing no block. That's why we are adding G and 1 by G.
In the third case, the block G is behind summing point. And
Yeah.
for reduction of a block diagram, it enforces to move that block G to after summing point. This
Okay.
rule says how to do that.
Okay.
Do not compare rule number 2 and 3. 2 is different, 3 is different.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, mute yourself.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you start recording, please, this lecture? We don't have the option to do that. You can do
No, here is net is very slow. If I started recording, you lose the slides. You mean it is so slow here. It is wireless, not wired. So that's why recording it is, it is a problem here. Because after recording, I need to upload it, no?
And sir, could you go a bit slow this time?
Yeah, yeah. So whenever you have it out, you can interrupt.
So when you record, it will be stored automatically on the stream. I don't think you have to upload it.
No, the stream is not working here.
Okay, so no problem.
Yeah, anyhow, I'm sharing the slides, no? Continuing with the reduction rules. Moving a takeoff point or pickoff point behind a block, similar to summing point. So here the takeoff point is before G, and for some requirement I need to move it to after G. So that is being done by including another block by 1 by G, because without that the additional value is added. Then moving takeoff point ahead of block.
Sir?
Yeah.
So can you explain the second part of the sixth point?
Yes. You see, the given block diagram is in canonical form, and the requirement is to have unity feedback system. So it need to be converted to unity feedback system. So to convert it to unity feedback system, the block H has to be moved somewhere. So it is moved to forward path. Now when I move to forward path, what is the value of GH connected in feedback with unity gain, it is a GH divided by 1 minus or plus GH.
Yes.
That is being multiplied with 1 by H.
To get G upon 1 minus plus GH.
No. You see, the right side one should be equivalent to left side one, right? What is the value of left side one? G divided by 1 minus or plus GH.
Yes.
So to make the right side one also same, I need to add one other block with 1 by H, because I have to get rid of 1 by H, because that H has been moved out and it is multiplied with G.
Okay, sir.
So when you simplify that block diagram, it will become GH divided by 1 minus R plus GH. That is multiplied with 1 by H. When you simplify
Yes.
the equation, you will get the original one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And this swapping, it's very easy, nothing complicated. Next is the example. So this earlier one. Now, to simplify this, to reduce it to canonical form, first you can combine G2 and H2. So H2 is a feedback path. So that can be combined, or that can be written as a single block of value G2 divided by 1 plus G2 into H2. It is plus because it is negative feedback. So the value is G2 divided by 1 plus G2 H2. That is done here. That is loop L1. Then next, after doing that, to simplify further, move point A to point B. That is merge, take off point A and B. So when you shift point A to B, the signal you are taking at A will carry the value G2 divided by 1 plus G2H2. That is the value of loop L1. So we have to get rid of the value of L1. So H1 is being divided with the value of loop L1. Any doubt?
So yeah, I have a question here.
Yeah.
Can we also do it this way? Can we remove the feedback for G1 and H1 and then sum up the
Wait. How can you remove that?
We can't?
No, you are having two summing points.
Oh, okay. We have two summing points.
Yeah,
Okay.
how can you do that?
Fine. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in the part number 2, the second part, instead of moving the takeoff point from A to B for the H1, can we just move the takeoff point of H3, which is B, over to over to A? So moving the takeoff point from B to A.
No, listen. You can do in either way. So you have to choose which one is the easiest.
Okay.
That's by experience. You can do that also.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll have several options. Hello?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
No, you are hearing me, no? I'm not talking. I'm waiting for you to understand.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll stop sharing. Again, I will do that. Yeah, next one. So reduce this canonical to canonical form and find out y by r. So what we did yesterday, moving takeoff point from H1 to before G2 so that we can multiply G2 and G3 and you can combine G2 and G3 with G4. Right? So yeah, that's what it's being done here. Moving point A to B, then combining L1, move takeoff point from A to B. So we'll have the value G4 plus G2, G3. So you see here, actually I have shared all these slides to you. So if you have any doubts, you can raise. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Yeah, okay.
So can you please go a slide back? I was still understanding.
Which one? Tell me.
Done, sir. Done.
Okay. So here again, move the takeoff point up, which is present after G3 to after G4 so that you can multiply G3 and G4 and combine or make a block, single block with H4. So to do that, H3 must be divided by G4, H2 must be divided by G4. So next loop 1 and loop 2. Simplify these two loops separately. So loop 1, forward path with the value G2, G3, G4 divided by 1 plus G3, G4, H4. Feedback gain H3 by G4. Loop 1 is feedback. Loop 2 is addition, summation.
Sir, why is loop 2 not a feedback loop? It's having
look at the direction of signal flow. In the loop 2, both the signals are flowing from right side to left side. It is not a feedback. Two signals are added, no?
Okay,
Feedback
because
is,
of the summation sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, summation sign, it is there in loop 1 also. But in loop
But
1,
the direction.
Yeah. One signal is flowing right side, another one left side.
Okay.
I think I gave this as homework, no? Oh, this was done yesterday. Yeah. Again, similar thing here. Moving A to B. And dividing two paths separately to simplify further, to make our work easy, of course, no doubt. You can understand better if I divide it. What done here? So that loop L1 is simplified first. Any doubts?
Sir, could you go back to... Hello?
Yeah.
Could you go back to the last slide, please? Thank you.
Which one? Which one? This one?
Yeah, this one, the same one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sir, you can continue. Thank you.
This one also done. To find out output y with the 2 inputs. So each time you make one input 0, and using superposition theorem, output will be summation of those two. As I explained in last class, output y equal to ym plus y2. R and N are two inputs. So make each input 0 at a time. We will have output 1 with R equal to 0, output 2. So we will have total output y equal to ym plus y2, that is y with n equal to 0 and y with r equal to 0. So before doing that, making simple, making the block diagram simpler. So initial simplification done. Now make n equal to 0. So when you make n equal to 0, you can remove those two summing points. So simply we will have g1 plus g3 divided by g1 g2 divided by 1 plus g2 h1. Now we can find out y1. Next, make r equal to 0. Now split this summing point m to two summing points so that further simplification can be done. So y2.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Can you please explain how to split the summing points?
You were saying a roll number, I think 7. You see the signals from G4 and Y2 coming together and flowing up, right? In the diagram up. Understood? So you make G4 one loop and the right side one separate loop with the value of G1 plus G3 plus G1 G2 divided by 1 plus G2 H1 separate. You see here this block. This block has to be divided into 2.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, mute. Yeah, moving to the exercise problem. Instead, I gave you some, homework problem. So you need to simplify this to canonical form and find out C by R. So first, I don't know how you people have tried to do it, or I don't know how many have done it. So to club G2 and G3, you have to get rid of takeoff point. So to move takeoff point to either, the takeoff point can be moved either left side or right side. If you move takeoff point to left side, you will be combining summing point and takeoff point together, and it won't reduce your block diagram further. It will make the system complicated. So only way left out is move the takeoff point to beyond G3, after G3. Right? Any doubt? Only way is that if you move it left side, Yeah.
Yes, could you please repeat once again, like why moving right side is preferable over moving left side?
You see, when you move the takeoff point to left side, what will happen? You can do that. You can do that. So you can combine G2 and G3, and again the takeoff point has to be moved beyond G2, G3. I mean, actually can be done. Not an issue. But if you move after G3 initially, then straight away you can combine and you can do it. Actually, it is nothing wrong.
Okay.
Maybe one step extra you may get.
So same process can be followed for left side also. We'll divide by G2, and then we'll have to again put it the entire process to the right hand side. So it is better to first put it in the right hand side itself.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Okay.
So,
sorry, got it.
It's not the wrong thing. You may have to do one step extra.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So this is another possible. I didn't talk about this purposefully. So what I'm doing now here, summing point is moved to left side instead of takeoff point. Because in earlier several problems we did this. We moved takeoff point. We didn't move summing point. So now, as an example, we can move summing point. This is also can be done. So actually here you are having three options. To move takeoff point to side, either right side or left side, then simplify, or move the summing point to left side and simplify. So another option. So you see here. So you can combine G1 and G2, then move the takeoff point. See this. Again, another option. Now we can combine G1, G2 and H1. That is, it will become G1, G2 divided by 1 minus G1, G2, H1.
Sir, shouldn't we move the takeoff point to the right and then
You can.
do it?
You can. So it is right. It is like writing your algorithm, na, or codes. You may do it in several ways. Nothing wrong. But be careful while applying the rules. You apply the rules properly. That's all you can do. No issues. I am doing the third step first. You will be doing the fourth step first. So now you can combine this power path G1, G2, G3 divided by 1 minus G1, G2, H1 with the feedback path H2, G1. So further, here H value is equal to 1. So GH divided by 1 plus GH, H equal to 1. Yeah, some exercises. Anyhow, I'll be sharing the slides with you, so you can try all this. So find C1 and C2. Here there are two inputs, two outputs. So you have to use superposition theorem to find out C1 and C2. So find out C1 with R1 equal to 0, next R2 equal to 0, and add those two to get C1. Next, make C1 0 to find C2. Again, make R1 0, next R2 0, And to find out C2, add those two. So basically, considering each input and each output at a time. The second one, it is very simpler.
Sir, could you repeat this again?
Which one? First one.
The C1 and C2, how you found
you know superposition theorem, na?
Yes.
If you are suppose you are having a RC circuit, and RC circuit is having two input and two outputs, and you have been asked to find out each voltage separately. How we are going to do? First make C2 equal to 0. So you'll have the block diagram with R1, R2 and C1. So to find C1, first make R2 equal to 0. Say you may get C1 dash. Next time you make R1 equal to 0. Say you may get C1 double dash. So C1 dash plus C2 dash will, C1 double dash will be C1. Then next, I need to find out C2. To find out C2, first make C1 equal to 0. Simplify the diagram. Now, with R1 0, say C2 dash. Next, with R2 0, say you will get C2 double dash. So C2 will be C2 dash plus C2 double dash. Yeah, any doubts?
So C2 will be C2 dash plus C2 double dash.
No, you see, to find out C2, you are having two inputs, right?
Yeah.
You have to make one input 0, right? So you consider either R1 or R2 to find out C2. To find out C2, first initially make C1 equal to 0.
Okay.
Then you will have R1, R2 are the inputs, C2 is the output, right?
Yes.
So you have to consider each input at a time, not both at a time. So make R1 equal to 0. Then you will have only R2 and C2.
Okay, sir, got it.
You call that as C2 dash or C2A, whatever you want. Anything. It is left to you. So that is, say, C2 dash. Next, consider R2, consider R1, make R2 equal to 0, say C2 double dash. Summation of those two will be C2.
So,
yeah.
Do we have to solve by superposition?
No. So when you are having multiple input and multiple output, in any circuits, what is the way to find out output? Tell me.
You take 1, 0 and then do it. Superposition theorem only.
That's all.
But sir, can't we take error signal, feedback signal and then keep substituting values and find it?
No, making the system complicated. Okay. You are making the system complicated. When you consider each signal at a time, your circuit will be reduced to such a simpler one, most simpler one. That's easy, no?
Yes. So, sir, while doing C1, we consider C2 0 and then for each input, and same for C2.
Yeah.
Okay.
To find out C1, make C2 equal to 0, draw the diagram. Redraw the diagram. You will have R1 and R2 input. Simplify it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Another exercise. Again, here you are having 2 input and 2 outputs. 2 inputs and 2 outputs. So first make a theta 2 to 0. Then you will have theta 11 and theta 12 are the inputs. So to find out theta 21 dash and theta 21 double dash with the input theta 11 and theta 12 respectively. It makes the system so easy when you make one of the things 0. Simply it is a short circuit. I mean, either open or closed.
So I just have one doubt. In the previous example, the one at the bottom, the previous slide, there's an example at the bottom also. So over there, in the rightmost thing, we have to just exchange the takeoff point and the summing point, and then we can continue as normally, right?
No. How can you exchange your takeoff point and summing point? You can exchange a takeoff point or summing point, not takeoff point and summing point.
So how would you propose to solve the extreme right one?
Extreme right one.
Yeah,
so you can listen. You can add s and 2, no, s plus 2. It becomes, I mean, s minus 2. It's my negative. S minus 2, right? So now you have one block with a value s minus 2, and the left side.
I thought we couldn't do that earlier. That's why, because it's continuous from the same signal. That's why.
We can't do that. Another exercise. For next 2 exercises, I am not giving in a hint. Let you think. I'll be sharing this slide, so you can copy it later and do it. This one, okay, last one, okay, over. Yeah. Signal flow graphs. Signal flow graphs is a pictorial representation of block diagrams or any given circuit. I repeat, it is a pictorial representation of a given block diagram or a circuit diagram. So what is doing here to represent this, to represent it by a graphic? You can find
out. Sir, could you go 2 questions back? I'm still trying to figure that out.
Which one? Exercise?
Yes.
No, I'll be sharing that exercise question with you. No, so you think and let me know the answer in the next class or doubt, because you need time to do that, right? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, because others are waiting. So by representing a block diagram or a circuit diagram in graphical form, you can find out the ratio between 2 signals very easily. I say ratio between 2 signals. Need not be output, need not be input. You just glance through your earlier studies for a given circuit, say maybe in S&S or anything, to find out ratio between 2 signals, it is so cumbersome. You need to write KVL or KCL and you have to solve those equations. But using SFG, you can find out so easily. So we'll come to that, come to know about it shortly. So signal flow graph is a graphical representation of relation between a set of variables. It consists of branches and nodes. What is a node? You know, you must be knowing it. It is a what is that? A point where different branches are connected together. So here in signal flow graph in SFG, we represent each branch by its value. So obviously gain and the direction of flow of the signal. An example here, you have input, you have output. The connection between input and output is connected through the nodes Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4. And in SFG, you may have several connections like this. So to identify the output where you are taking the signal out, in a easiest form, it is represented by a dummy node of value of gain 1. So you see here the output is connected with a dummy node of same node value and the gain 1. Just to identify easily by looking at the SFG where you are taking the output. Mind you, output can be taken in anywhere in your circuit diagram. Need not be at the right side only. I can take the output at Y2 also. I can take the output at Y3 also. So for a particular combination of the circuit, for a particular circuit where you are taking the output, it is understood just by looking at the, I mean, it should be, you must be able to notify it easily, because you will not be having SFG in such a simpler form. You may be having very big SFG. Otherwise, identification will be complicated. So the node represents the signal flow through Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4. And input node is Y1, output node is Y4, and it is represented by a dummy node. And Y2, Y3, the nodes in between, other than input and output, it is called mixed nodes, but of course it is not required, not so serious. And there are 4 branches here with the gain A, B, C and D. D is a feedback path. For negative feedback, the minus sign is included there, you see. The minus sign is included in D, not Y2. So just to understand better how to write the SFG, for an example, I am having these 5 equations. I am explaining you how to write SFG for given set of equations. So let me implement first Y2 equal to A1 to Y1 plus A4 to Y4. Obviously, Y2 is output, Y1 and Y4 are the inputs. For that, only for that equation. And A1, A12 and A42 are the gains or branches. So first mark the nodes. Totally you are having 6 nodes. By looking at all those 6 equations, 5 equations, you are having 6 nodes. First you represent the nodes Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5, Y6. Implement one by one. Now I am implementing the first equation. Y2, the value at Y2 is equal to, if it is coming from the left side node, it is the input side. If it is coming from the right side node, it is a feedback. Okay. So at Y2, Y1 is lying on the left side. So it is from the input side. Whereas Y4 is ahead. So it has the signal should come back to Y2. So that's why it is feedback. Any doubt? Second equation. Actually, you have to write in the same diagram. To explain you, I wrote a different one. I'm showing a different one. So implementing second equation, Y3, node value of Y3, I mean the node value Y3 equal to A23 into Y2. Y2 is on the left side, so coming from the input side. And Y4 is on the right side ahead of Y3. So it is coming back, signal is coming back. Then third equation, so Y4 equal to A34 into Y3. Fourth equation, look at the difference here, make out the difference. Wi-Fi at the value of Wi-Fi, the value of node Wi-Fi is A45 into Y4 plus A35 into Y3. That is, both Y3 and Y4 are before Wi-Fi. So both are coming from the input side. So look at the difference here. It is not feedback. Last one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in these diagrams, is it not necessary to represent the output nodes via the dummy node?
Yeah, it is. It is. Because in the statement, it is nothing mentioned that which one is output, right? Sorry, mentioned output Y6. Okay, it is mentioned. Yeah, it is required, but it is completion is not. I mean, it is not done. We are not doing anything. Yeah, it is required.
Understood,
because
sir.
Yeah, at the last step, of course, after completing all this, simply write Y6, another Y6 with the value 1.
Understood, sir.
Yeah, this is the final diagram. You see, this is the final diagram. So after completing this, you add one more node with value Y6 and gain 1.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, sir, in the fourth one, A35 is a branch, right? Means that Y3 to Y5 is a branch, right? Not the feedback part.
A35 is a branch, A45 is a branch.
Okay, there is no feedback in this one.
No feedback.
Okay.
So all the signals are coming from the left side.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Behind Wi-Fi.
So I have one doubt.
Yeah.
So like as you mentioned, like in the question, it will be mentioned like given that which point is supposed to be the output node, correct?
Yeah.
So and so in this particular question, Y6 was the output node, and so the doubt that I had was that will it be specified like how the signal will flow? Like let's say over here we are looking at it flowing from Y1 to Y2 to Y3 to Y4 to Y5 to Y6.
Yeah.
Can it a case that it goes from y1 to y3, then goes to y2.
It will be feedback. It will be feedback. Y1 to y3. It is forward path. Yeah, another forward path. Yeah.
No, okay. So basically, it will always follow this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 order, and if it goes the opposite way, then it is a feedback.
No, actually, yeah. So actually, since this is the first one, you are having that doubt.
Okay.
When you write SFG for several equations, I mean, one by one, by experience, you'll be doing that fast, very fast.
Okay, sir.
Start implementing one by one. Know that whether it's coming from the left side or right side. That's all. If it is coming from the right side, you make it feedback. Coming from the left side, make it forward. That's all.
Okay, sir.
As the name itself says.
Sir.
Yeah.
So could you explain again why there's a dummy node and you're multiplying it by 1, right?
Just to tell you that, suppose I have written a block diagram, SFG.
Okay.
And if I give that SFG2 as it is, to find out the output, you need to scan through your graph, no?
Okay.
If I make it, mention it by a dummy node, just by looking at it, you can identify.
Okay.
It is an easy identification method.
Okay.
If it is not mentioned by a dummy node, it is not wrong. I am repeating, it is not wrong. It is a shortcut identification method.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, whenever a question is mentioned like in with input y1 and y6 output, so we have to always take an order, right? So, or can you give an example like where it is not following an
if you take it in an order, it will be easy to implement your equations.
In the question, can they give like they are not in a particular order, something like that?
In the question, what need to be given? Which one is the input, which one is the output, and set of equations. That's all. What else you want?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Isn't it? Some terms we are using in SFG. Forward path. It is similar to your block diagram. So direct flow from input to output without traversing a node twice, more than once. It is a direct connection between input and output without moving through a node more than once. So here there are two forward paths. Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5, Y6. Y1 is the input, Y6 is the output. So this is one way of reaching output. Second road to reach Y6 from Y1 is Y1, Y2, Y3, Y5, Y6. Right? There are two ways of reaching. Any doubt? Next, forward path gain. So in the above one, the multiplication of each gain is the total path gain. So while moving from Y1 to Y6 in the path, Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5, Y6, You take out the gains and multiply it. So in the above example, it is A, B, C, D, E.
Sir?
Yeah.
If we take y1, y2, y3, y5 and y6 as the path, so it would be A, B, G, E, right?
Yes, exactly. No doubt.
Okay.
Then loop. Loop means start from a node and come back to the same node without moving a node twice, without traversing through a node more than once. Say, for example, here, start from y2, come back to y2 in the different ways. But you must follow the flow of signal. And you must not traverse more than once through a node. So y2, y3 and y2 through the gains B and J is the loop. y1, y3 and come back to y2, that is a loop. Similarly, y3, y4, y5 and y3 is another loop. The gains are C, D, H. C, D, H is another loop. Any other possible? Third one, y4, y5 and y4. That is again D and I. E is the third loop. Any other possible? Possible, no?
Sir?
Yeah.
So y3, y4, and then to y3.
GH not possible as a loop?
Which one, which one?
G and H. Like y3
yes,
and y5.
Yes. I was yet to come to that point. I am giving you the time to find out all the combinations. So another fourth one is G into H. G into H is another loop. Any other?
CDH.
What?
CDH.
CDH. I think I have told this already. Okay.
Sir, isn't F a loop?
You see, it is there. Look at the slide. It is called self node or self loop.
Okay.
It is called as self node or self loop. So it is also a loop, but it is self loop. And the value of gain is F.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Will D, F and I will be a loop?
D, F, no. You are moving through the F twice. That Wi-Fi node, you are traversing twice.
Fine,
it can't be. You have to come back to Y4, no? To become a loop.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, DI is a loop, right? Y4,
Yeah,
Y5, Y5.
Already included.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in this case, will G be equal to C into D?
No, those equations are different. Here I am explaining the terminologies.
Sir, no, like in the magnitude, can the gain G be equal to C multiplied by D?
No, that I don't know. No. How do you know the value of G? Do you know the value of H? Do you know the D? It is actually irrelevant. That question is irrelevant here, right? Why do you bother about the values?
Okay.
Yeah, values you can tell only for a particular circuit. I haven't given that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you look at another most important definition here, non-touching loops. That means two loops should not share a node. It should not have a common wall. Two loops should not touch anywhere, called non-touching loop. As the name itself says, it is non-touching. So you see the loop B and J and the loop F, they are non-touching. Similarly, loop Bj and loop Di are non-touching. Rest are all touching. Got it? So we shall write SFG for this given circuit, right? So first, so let us say, for example, V1 is the input, obviously it's the input, V1 is the input and V3 is the output. So find out the ratio V3 by V1. Of course, finding the ratio is the later. Now we have to write SFG. So identifying the current in the loops. First you write down the equations. KVL or KCL. You see, I1 equal to V1 minus V2 by R1. I'm sure I need not explain all this, no? You remember how to write all these equations. I need not spend time on this. So to write SFG, first you have to write down the nodes. The nodes are identification of parameters in the circuit. So here parameters are V1, I1, V2, I2, V3. And R1, R2, R3, R4 are branch gains. So start writing the node by scanning your circuit from left side to right side, and when you come across a parameter, mark it as a node. I repeat, start scanning your circuit from left to right. Left to right means from input side to output side. And when you come across each parameter, identify the node. So first here, you see V1, when I scan from left to right, first I will come across V1, the next one is I1, next is V2, next is I2 and V3. Since I have given V3 as the output, add a dummy node and start implementing these four equations. So I1 equal to V1 by R1 minus V2 by R2. So V2 is ahead of I1, so it will be feedback path. with a value minus 1 by R1. Second equation, I2 equal to V2 by R2. V2 is on the left side, so we will have forward path with a value 1 by R2 minus 1 by R2 to V3. So V3 is ahead of I2, so it is feedback. Third equation, V2 equal to R3 into I1. I1 is on the left side, so it is a forward path. Again R3, then I2 is ahead, so you are coming back. So value is minus R3. Last equation, V3 equal to R4 into I2. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Yeah. Another one, RLC circuit. So writing equation, simple. So most importantly, you cannot indicate a differentiator or an integrator in SFG in time domain. So whenever you have an equation carrying di by dt or d square by dt or single integral of E of t, double integral of E of t, all those, you have to convert it to Laplace domain. So you will have parameters like E of s, I of s, EC of s. So taking Laplace transform. So I hope you remember. So to write the Laplace transform, take the differential term left side, write the equation of di by dt equal to so much. Then taking Laplace, s into I of s minus I of 0 is the initial condition, right side. So 1 by L E of s minus R by L I of s minus 1 by L EC of s. What is EC of s? Laplace of EC of t. EC of t equal to 1 by c integral of I dt. So s into E of s equal to minus EC of 0 equal to 1 by c into I of s. So here SFG can be written in two forms. No doubt I of 0 and EC of 0 are two initial conditions. So basically it's those two are the inputs. Either you can make it 0, you can write down neglecting initial condition, or you can write, or you can consider as another input, no problem. One thing. Second thing, you can write down SFG in two forms. One is take the equation for s into I of s, implement SFG, or take I of s and implement SFG. So in both the forms we will do it. First we will consider s into I of s, and then only I of s. So yeah, you see the above equation written in terms of I of s. So taken I of
Excuse
0,
me, sir.
right? Yeah.
So can you go back to the previous slide for 1 minute?
Yeah. What's the doubt here?
So nothing, sir. I just wanted to note down a few things.
Okay. No, you'll get the slides. Why to write again? Yeah, you'll be getting all this.
Yes.
So I of s equal to writing the equation in a, taken the terms on right side and implemented SFG. So I of s equal to, so note down here, I of 0 is another input apart from E of s. I think I did small mistake here. Here, okay, input I represented as E. Okay, it capital E of s. Okay, fine. Can be done. Small e, capital E, doesn't matter. It has to be capital E. So if you have any doubt, you can raise it. I don't think I have anything to explain here. If you have any doubt, you can raise it. So as I told you, you can write same thing in another form, considering the equation S into I of s as it is, without modifying for I of s. So how do you get I of s? We need basically current I of s and EC of s. How do you get I of s? From S into I of s, adding a branch with 1 by s. Obvious. So what is this 1 by s? In Laplace domain, what is 1 by s? Anybody? In Laplace domain, what is S inverse? Anyone? What do you mean by S inverse? Huh? It's an integrator. So you are getting I of s from S of s, S into I of s, by introducing an integrator. So SFG, signal flow graph containing an integrator or differentiator, it is called state diagram. So yesterday I told you about two control studies, modern and the previous one, dynamic. The modern control is on state diagram that you will be studying later. It is the last part of the syllabus. So what is state diagram? That is being explained here. Further studies will be done later. So SFG containing an integrator or differentiator is called state diagram. So state diagram is nothing but SFG, but contains usually integrators. So I wrote equation for S into I of s and S into EC of s rather than I of s and EC of s to write down SFG. So above equations are implemented here. So first consider S into I of s, from that derive I of s. Similarly consider S into EC of s, from that derive EC of s. So I of s is derived from S into I of s by introducing 1 by s, the gain of 1 by s, that's the integrator. Similarly, EC of S is obtained from S into EC of S by introducing an integrator. That is 1 by S. So rest of the things are same. Any doubt? Shall I move ahead? Yeah. So let us write SFG for this. I'll give some time. Write down the equations. If mentioned that V2 is output, then add a dummy node with V2 and gain 1, or I1 is output, add a dummy gain to I1 with, dummy node to I1 with gain 1. So most important point, how to find the ratios. Here only the gain is mentioned, that is output by input, but can be used to find out any two ratios. It is defined as C by R equal to summation of Pi del I divided by del I equal to 1 to n. Where n is the number of pop paths Pi is the gain of ith for path. Del or delta is 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains plus sum of gain product of all possible two non-touching loops minus 3 non-touching loops and so on. So del I or delta I is the value of delta above with path touching ith for path is removed. I'll explain all this when I take up a problem, numerical. So once again, I am telling you what is non-touching loop. I shall stop here, continue from the same thing in the class. I'll be sharing the slides probably tomorrow. Hello?